Good morning, math students. Today we are going to start getting into a unit that kind of cycles back to something we talked about earlier in the year, especially with our guest teacher, Mr. Joel, and that's around balancing equations or solving equation problems with variables. Okay, so today what we're going to look at is how do I solve visual problems with what we call the hanger model. And Ms. Toivola also introduced this just before she went on leave, and thinking about it as kind of this first picture, being able to make both sides even. So if you look at this first picture with the socks, what do you notice about them? So think in your head, what is something you notice? And then we're going to put a label on each of them, and what we would call them then is this first one I would say is balanced. So that means that this second one is unbalanced. So those are the words that we're going to get used to. Is when we talk about balance, we see here it is straight across and even. Okay, so there's the same thing on each side. The thing we notice here is that there's the same color on each side, but I notice that this sock is a little bit bigger than this sock, and this hanger is not even. So there's something different about the socks that's making the hanger tilt a different way. So when we look down at how to solve some of these problems, here on this first one, we have an hanger and there's different shapes on each side. The shapes, they tell us, represent a number. Okay, and this one, this moon, we don't know what it is yet. We have to try to solve. So what we're going to get used to doing is this first step that I've seen helps students a lot, is that if you draw a line down the middle of where it should be equal, we try to make this side be equal to this side. Okay, so we're trying to make them equal. So we're going to get in the pattern of first thing is always drawing a line down the middle. Next thing, we're going to use the info we have to try to find the missing information. So the information we have for this first one is that 2 is the same as one of these trapezoids. So 2 is a trapezoid, and I have 2 of them here. So that means that on this side of the balance, my total would be 4. So what does that mean for this side of the balance? I see I have one crescent moon. So that means that my crescent moon has to be the value of 4. For our next example, I have these red circles and blue triangles. So it says that the red circles are a value of 4, and the blue triangles we don't know. So again, my first step is I'm going to draw a line down the middle. Then I'm going to label the information I know. I know this is 4, 4, 4, and 4. So if I know that these circles are all 4, if I added them up, 4 plus 4 plus 4 plus 4, the other way to say that, repeat addition as multiplication, 4 times 4, this side equals 16. So this side needs to equal 16. So I have to think this through now. I have 16, and I know I already have this circle for 4. So if I have 16 and I take away the 4, that means that what I have left here would equal 12. So it can't be that each of these is 12, because if that was the case, then I would have 24, and 28 would be my total on this side. But it can't be. My total has to be 16. So it can't be that each of those is 12. It means that I need to split that 12 into 2 triangles. So if I took 12 and divided by 2, each of these would be worth 6. So my triangle is worth 6. One of the triangles is worth 6. All right, so there's a couple example problems to start us out. We're going to do some additional problems together on page 2. So again, I have the steps on the left-hand side here. We are first going to draw a line down the middle, and then we label the information we have and use that information to find the missing number. Okay, so now's a good time to pause your video and try it on your own and check back. For the first one that has trapezoids and hearts, again, line down the middle. The information we know is that each heart is a value of 2. So that means on this side, I have 2 plus 2 plus 2. Another way to say that, 2 times 3. My total on this side is 6. On this side, I have something, question mark, plus 2, and that has to give me a total of 6. So I could take away this heart to find the remaining value for this trapezoid. So what would 6 minus 2 equal? And that would be 4. So that means my one trapezoid is worth a value of 4. All right, for my next one, line down the middle. Now I'm going to label my values. I know that each square is worth a value of 3. So I'm going to say 3. On the right-hand side here, I have 3 times 5. So my total for this side is 15. My total on the left side also needs to be 15. And we can subtract what we already know. We already know that this square is worth 3. So I'm going to have 15. Take away the 3 because we're trying to solve for these hearts. 15 minus 3 is 12. And this is similar to one of our warm-up problems where 12 divided into 2, each of these hearts would be worth 6. So that means the value of one of the hearts is 6. On to our last page, page 3. This problem has 3 different shapes now in the mix. So we are going to start again, same process, line down the middle. Let's put the information that we already know. A pink triangle is worth a value of 3. We took care of that. A green hexagon is worth a value of 4. And we don't know what the value of this orange moon is. So if I look at my information I have, 3 plus 3 equals 6. So that means that 4 plus whatever this is going to equal 6. So I'm going to take 6, subtract my hexagon. And that gives us 2. That is what is left over for our orange crescent moon, 2. Our final problem, go ahead and draw a line down the middle. Let's figure out the information we have. Again, there's 3 different shapes to look at. This blue teardrop is worth 7. So let's put it in there, 7. This orange diamond is worth 1. And this pink or purplish kind of square, we don't know yet. So we need to figure out. So when I look at my balance, what is the side that I could find a total to? And I noticed this side, I could figure out a total. 7 times 3 is 21. So that means on this side, my total is going to be 21. So if I take 21 and get rid of the one that we already know, so minus 1, That means that 20 is remaining to split across my 2 purple squares. So if 2 squares is worth 20, I have to think, what would one of the squares be worth? So what is 20 divided into 2? Each of these is worth 10. So that means the missing value for this purple square is 10. The last one I put on here is a challenge problem. I'm going to have you kind of challenge yourself to see if you could figure it out, and I'll check your answers that you submit. So I'm not going to show you a solution to this one, which is a little different. I'm going to let you challenge yourself and try to see if you got it right. I will comment on your grades if you got it. And then before you turn this back into Schoology, I need you to help give a little summary of what you learned today. So you're going to finish the sentence that I started here for you. It says, I learned that when you solve a hanger problem, you need to, what is it you need to do? Go ahead and put a tip or a piece of information in there of what you need to do. Then one question I still have is, what's a question that you still have about what we talked about today with balancing equations? Okay, so maybe you think back to something that you learned with Mr. Joel being there, or something from today that you saw. What is a question you still have? When you're all done with that, go ahead and submit it back to Schoology, and have a good rest of your day. Bye.